Stop wasting your time going all around Stanton looking for components and weapons for your ship. Did you know that there is an all-in-one tool available online to help you find all those components and help you load out your ship properly? It's like PC Part Picker, but for Star Citizen. So let's get into it. Head on over to your search bar and type in DPS calculator. More than likely, your browser will suggest urkel.games as one of the first results, or you can just type in urkel.games, and it should take you right to this website. So here we have urkel.games. It is a one-page website that helps you find components anywhere in Stanton for any of your ships, and it's very, very useful. But because it is very confusing at first, at least it was for me when I discovered it 2 years ago, I wanted to make this video to make it easier for you. So let's get right into it. This one-page layout is divided into different sections. We have the weapons section. We have the missile section. Components. We have a power triangle, which I'm going to go into later, and you definitely want to stick around for that because it is very important. And we have the ship information on the right-hand side, which tells you everything about the ship, and it updates automatically depending on what items that you choose. But first, we need to go ahead and choose a ship. If you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see here that it says Cutter, because that's what's currently selected is the Drake Cutter. Let's go ahead and hit this green text right here. It says select ship or vehicle, and you'll notice that you can pick any ship in the game, any ship. So let's go ahead and change it. Let's go for another Drake ship. One of my favorites that I own is the Drake Corsair. All right, so here we can see that the page changed dramatically because the Corsair has more weapons. Not necessarily more components, but more weapons, and yeah, it can do a lot more damage than a cutter can. But first, let's move over to the weapons section and start there. As you can see over here in the weapons section, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. We have 6 different weapons that the pilot can control. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 M6A laser cannons, and we have 2 M5A laser cannons. Now let's go ahead and go over these differences here. If you'll notice here, above each weapon, there's what's called a varipuck. What's a varipuck? It sounds like something from hockey. Well, what it is, it's kind of a thing that looks like a puck, but it actually enables the weapon that it's mounted to, that is mounted to it, I should say, to gimbal. All right, kind of like move around. Because when you're in a fight, you can press the letter G on your keyboard and you go into gimbal mode. You'll see this extra circle pop up, and when you have a target selected, the ship's computer will select where to point the guns automatically. Kind of gives you a little bit of auto aim, not a lot. It's you have to be like right. They have to be right in front of you. You still have to move your ship so that way they stay in front of you. In a big ship like the Corsair, having gimbal is something you definitely want to keep in most cases because it's such a slow-moving ship. The gimbals will actually help you keep on target with the weapons. Now that I've explained that, you can actually remove these because what happens is the puck itself is a size larger than the weapon, always. So if you want a larger weapon, you're going to have to get rid of the gimbal. So in a ship like this, in the Corsair, you're going to have a bit of a hard time, but if you want it that way, if you want higher damage per second, then go ahead and upgrade those weapons, no problem. All you have to do is click on varipuck, and you'll see now you are given well, here's the puck, but you're also given an entire list of size 5 weapons. Only size 5 weapons. It won't let you choose size 6 or anything like that. There's no way to upgrade to something higher than what's possible. Okay. You have all the different names, you have all the different types, you have burst DPS, it shows you how much ammo each item has, what the range is, certain things have higher range, and what the overall HP, like how much damage that weapon can take from incoming shots before it dies, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So Let's sort by type. Okay, we have ballistic cannon, which a cannon, it shoots one at a time. So just imagine like a battlefield cannon. Boom, and then it reloads, and then boom. And then a ballistic Gatling, it has the spinny type thing, and it shoots a lot of bullets all at once. And then we have distortion scattergun. Okay, let's talk about distortion scattergun. A distortion gun distorts the energy produced by a shield, so it kind of weakens a shield. So you could say have maybe a couple of guns that shoots a distortion to weaken the shield, and then you come in with your laser repeaters, pew 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 pew, and you punch right through and hit the hull. Anyway, you can choose your weapons here. So for instance, I'm going to go and choose AD5B, which is like the best Gatling gun that you can get, 2,600 rounds. So imagine that's 2,600 rounds for just that one gun. So if I change every single one of these to AD5B, so here we have AD5B on all 4 mounts on the Corsair. Look at that, 2,110 sustained DPS per gun. What does that equate? Well, we don't actually have to do the math, even though that's pretty easy. We can just come right over here on the right hand side, and we can see right here, that is the player controlled weapons damage per second. This symbol are the weapons that you control as a pilot. This number down here is the turret, which you do not have control over, but the Corsair comes with 3 turrets, 2 manned turret and 1 remote turret. I forgot, there are 2 other weapons that you have control. You actually have control over 6 weapons on the Corsair. I completely spaced that. Same thing, it has gimbals, size 4 gimbals, size 3 weapons. If you can totally change it to size 4 weapons. Let's go ahead and just do it, right? Let's go and just change that to the AD4B. AD4B. Now, look at that. 11,679 damage per second that you have control over as a pilot. Here we have the turret DPS, 1,231. All right, and you can go ahead and do the same thing for the turrets. You can change these out. Well, they don't have gimbals because the turret itself is an entire gimbal with a much greater range of motion. And that's what makes them so advantageous. When you have a crew with you on a ship like the Corsair, you can cover a lot of different areas on the ship that you just can't take care of as a solo pilot. It's definitely a multi-crew ship. All right, and moving over into the missile section, we can see that it's kind of laid out the same. We have the mounting racks for the missiles. As you can see, as you can imagine, the racks themselves are what actually hold the missiles in place onto the wings or the bottom of a ship. And we can kind of decode exactly what type of missiles a rack can hold based on the numbers here, okay? If you look at it, it says MSD 423, okay? So it's a size 4 rack. It can hold 2 missiles that are size 3. Pretty easy. We can actually change this right here. We can have it hold 8 size 1s. We can have it hold 4 size 2s, 2 size 3s, 1 size 4. So if you want to really pack a punch and you're absolutely sure that one missile is going to hit its target, you can do this. You can change this loadout here. And so if I choose the size 4 missile, 1 size missile, we can see here how much damage each one does. So let's do assailant size 4. Boom, look at that, 4,255. And we can do that for all those. There's 4 different racks on this ship. Of course, you can make it so it only holds 4 missiles total, but it's kind of nice to have it set up as like a bit of a missile boat. So not only does it pack a punch with guns, it also packs a punch with missiles. So I kind of like to do a little bit of it in the middle. So let's do 2 size 3s instead, okay? Let's do chaos. Yeah, because that sounds cool. Chaos sounds amazing. All right, chaos. Now you notice something. I only had to change one of the missile racks, and all of them changed automatically. This is because the game does not allow you to have two different types of missile racks on one ship. It's just a limitation. I think it would be kind of cool to have different sizes, different racks, because in the future you might want to be able to say, hey, I want to throw a size 4 missile at this one thing, but a bunch of small ones at this other thing. So just to let you know, that's why if you change the rack on one of these, it'll change it for all of them. All right, now let's go ahead and get into components. Components. These are the components that basically run your ship. We have the shields, we have power plants, we have coolers, we have the quantum drives, and the thrusters. We can't change the thrusters, but it shows you the information here anyway. Here you can see it has 40 thrusters all over the ship, and how much G-force, how much power each one has. But let's get back to the beginning of the components, which is shields. So here we can see that the Corsair comes with a civilian grade 5CA Akura, which gives you a 100,000 HP. All right, and how much it takes to charge. So from the shields being completely turned off to being fully charged, it takes 227 seconds. That it's slow because it's a civilian shield. Now, if you clicked on this, you can see it shows you all the size 3 shields that this ship could potentially have. And there's different types. So if we sort by class, we have civilian class, industrial class, and military class. Now, I personally always default to military class because they tend to have the higher stats. But if you take a look here, you can kind of see that that's not necessarily true, because the FR-86 military grade A shield has 115,000 pool HP, but so does the Parapet Industrial Grade A. And all the other stats are pretty much exactly the same. So what is the actual difference? Well, let's see. All right, we have the Parapet Industrial Grade A. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the information here. All right, and then let's go ahead and change it to the FR-86. As we can see, the only thing that changes is a distortion shutdown damage. The industrial shield has less distortion protection. It shows it here on this. It says 1,444. If we put on the FR-86, it jumps up to 4,539. So this is important. It used to be that different components in previous versions of Star Citizen had different HP levels, which I believe they're going to get back into at some point, because if you're in a battle, your components will take damage. And in the future, you will be able to actually physically target individual components. If you're shooting somebody else's ship, your computer will be able to eventually allow you to choose a component that you want to fire upon. Let's go ahead and change it to military grade. Now, same thing with the power plants. I actually am okay with the power plants the way they are, with the Daybreak civilians. You can change this if you want to. Again, I'm just here to show you the DPS calculator. Now, the coolers, in some cases you may want to upgrade the coolers, but you'll notice that the cooling rate is not as high as, say, an industrial. An industrial cooler will give you a higher cooling rate pool. Okay. So it's up to you. I personally like industrial grade stuff. Not everything has to be military. Again, it used to be that military stuff had higher HP. That's not really the case anymore. Everything has pretty much the same HP across the board, except for a few outliers. But what I'd really like to get into here is quantum drives. Quantum drives is, to me, one of the more important things, because it allows you to greatly reduce your travel time from point A to point B. Now, depending on the size of ship, it may not always be prudent to get a military drive, because while yes, military drives are faster, they're going to suck your quantum fuel dry a lot faster as well. So faster speed, faster empty tank. So in some cases it's good to be somewhere in the middle ground. With the Corsair, because it has a decent sized fuel tank, I actually don't care. I like having military drive just because, again, it is nice and fast. As we can see here, these values actually do matter, with the XL1 military having the highest max speed. And I know there's a ton of videos out there about how it's explained. You know, going from point A to point B, it's not just, you don't just, you know, instantly go that speed. It actually ramps up. You actually ramp up for a period of time, and then you kind of go at the fastest possible speed that quantum drive allows you to go. And then as you get closer, you start to slow down. You don't just instantly slow down. That's why you hear that kind of like a power down sound as you get close, like, you know, a couple of million kilometers away from your destination, because it starts to slow down. So it ramps up, flattens out, and then ramps down. This is not important at all, the paint section, but if you have a special paint for your ship, you can go ahead and put it here. Like I have the Eternity paint, which is like makes the ship all black with red accents. Looks really cool, especially the fact that it makes the cockpit glass red. I love it. All right, now aside from this, there's really nothing else that you can change, but there's a couple of extra features that I like to talk about. The one that I like to talk about is the power priority triangle, the power triangle, just like it is on your ship. I promised you would go over it. So if you look right here, the triangle, we have the top left, we have weapons, we have shields, and then we have thrusters. All right. Obviously, the more you have it towards one, the more power is diverted towards that item. On a ship with pretty much mostly ballistic weapons, meaning, you know, it only shoots bullets, moving this does not change much. The only reason the number on the right side is changing is because the turrets are actually using laser repeaters, which don't require bullets. They don't require ammo. They just require that your capacitor is full of energy. So changing this will give more power to the people in the turrets, but not more power towards the pilot, who only has ballistic weapons. If I were to change all this to laser or energy weapons, then yes, it would actually have an effect where this DPS here would be a lot higher once I moved it towards the weapon. Of course, here you can see if I move towards the shield, how much shield power we have, and basically it doesn't give you more shield power. It allows your shields to heal faster. So the more I put it towards the shields, the higher the HP per second goes, because again, if your shields are depleted, it'll jump back up 1440 HP per second. Okay. Now thrusters, we can't really change anything about thrusters, except thrusters will allow you to get that boost back faster. Like, you know, you have afterburner. If you hold down shift, that will recharge faster, because it'll actually divert the cooling system to the engine so they can cool down quicker, so you can reuse those thrusters again. A couple other things I wanted to mention before I let you guys go. On the left-hand side, we have this menu. Here it shows all the data on everything. So if you go ships and vehicles, it gives you everything, including like weapons, all the information about the missiles, bombs. If you have something that can drop bombs, you know, this is where you go. It shows you information about different EMPs, QEDs, shields, all that good stuff, right? All right, now all that information that I went over really wouldn't do you a lot of good if you didn't know where to find these items, right? It's great to be able to change all these settings and everything, but what do you do with it? You want to add them to your ship. So let's go ahead and find out how to find these ships. Now, you may have already figured this part out as you've been playing around with the tool, but if you look at the actual, towards the right side, not where all the stats are, but just to the left there, if you choose an item on here, let's go ahead and choose the AD-4B Ballistic Gatling. If you choose it and click on it, it gives you all this information about the gun itself. Everything. But if you scroll down, whoa, what's that? There you go. It shows you every location you can buy this gun and for what cost. Like this one is Area 18, Orison. You can buy this at her L3 or her L5. There you go. Well, that's cool, right? Now, another really good tip that I like is that any change that you've made on here, you can add any non-stock item to a shopping cart automatically. This is really cool. If you go all the way over here, it says non-stock items to cart. Click it. Now it says it's added it. Now if you go up to the very top, there's a cart. Look at that. Everything that I have added for this ship is now in a cart. I need 2 of this, I need 2 of that, 1 of that, 4 of that, and it tells me where to go for each one. But I can always change this. If I say, you know what, I don't want to have to go all the way over there, I can see if there's another option. Oh, look at that. This, I can buy this at Dumpers Depot on Grimhex, for instance, and I can change the shopping list. And I can just kind of keep this up on here while I'm playing. I have a second monitor. I'll usually just put that on the second monitor while I'm playing the game, so I can just reference, okay, I need to go here, I need to go there. You can kind of map it out that way. Another thing that would be cool, and I know it would take a lot of extra work, the people who have made this website have already done an amazing job, but it would be cool if this incorporated some sort of map to kind of map out, like, you know, which route to take, that it would be the shortest time to collect all items on this cart. That's just a wish list. Again, I think they did an amazing job, and this tool is a lifesaver for sure. Now, having said that, this website will store your stuff in your browser cache, but you can easily lose that if you clear your cache regularly, or if something happens to your browser or your computer. Now, luckily, you can actually save an account. On the top right corner, there's a little person. If you click that, you can create a login. Put in a username, and then password, and then you can click create account. You click create account, and then you fill out the information, username, email, password, and then register. This is really cool because you can store multiple ships. I have like 11 ships on mine. Some of them are just different variations of the same ship, because you can do that in this tool. That's why this tool is so handy. I may not fly a ship for months and then go back to a ship that I may have melted and repurchased, and I want to go back to the same loadout I had before. Well, I can just go here, and there it is. Another awesome thing that you can do as well is you can share your loadout. Say you've got a friend that just started, and you say, hey, I've been using this on my Corsair. This loadout works perfectly for me. Let me go and share it to you. And when they click on it, it pulls up your exact same loadout that you have on their webpage, and they can save it to their profile. You just go over here to the little share button on the far right corner and click that, and it generates a short URL into memory. So when you paste that, here, let me open up a new tab. I'm gonna show you. If you right click, paste, and look at that, it has a special short URL. And yes, as a matter of fact, you can probably just grab this, screenshot this, and use this of what I just went through. That short URL is unique to that loadout. And see, as the page loads, there it goes. There's everything that we had selected previously. So again, super useful tool. One other little tidbit: this always defaults to the live PTU or live persistent universe version. They do have the PTU, like here it says 3.18.1. Your profiles do not transfer from one over to the other, so do be aware of that. However, they do automatically update when Star Citizen releases the official public universe. It will actually update here automatically as well. If there's been any changes that CIG has made to any of the weapons, the shields, or anything like that, Urkel has been really good about getting this updated in a timely fashion. Again, I don't know exactly who Urkel is. If I go to the About section, it does show me some information here. 2022 Urkel data extraction by one person, quantum travel time formula by this person, and by another person. So I know multiple people had their hands on this, but whoever you guys are, I do appreciate you. This is an awesome tool. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps this channel out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Take care and stay safe.